Coming up tonight on SLU News 22, the Grand Bridge project is finally underway, how it will affect your commute. 2 crimes committed on campus over the weekend, what DPS is saying about the incidents. Japan is still trying to recover from a major earthquake and ensuing tsunami, and a coalition from the UN is now involved in the conflict in Libya. And of course, your local weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist David Keller.
As many of you are probably aware by now, the Grand Bridge has finally closed and construction crews are in the process of tearing it down. This is causing headaches for the large number of students who commute back and forth between the Frost campus and the Med campus. Without the bridge, campus shuttles must detour around to the Compton Avenue Bridge. With the added traffic, backups are to be expected over the next couple of weeks as drivers get used to their new route. Students should add at least 15 minutes to their scheduled commute to deal with the detour.
The bridge closed last Monday at 2 a.m. and is expected to remain closed for the next 14 months. The nearly 30,000 motorists that use the bridge each day are now faced with detours and long lines of traffic as they find their way around the now partially demolished bridge, which is over a half-century old, will be demolished during the coming weeks, and crews will begin to build the replacement over the summer. Businesses in Grand Center are hopeful that the 1.5 million people who attend different events at places like the Fox Theater will be able to find their way to performances. Kelly Weber, a spokeswoman for Grand Center, says venues didn't lose much business when Highway 40 shut down and there was plenty of advance notice. The Grand Metro station will also be affected by the construction as well, though crews will try to minimize the impact. Mondays in Midtown's Mark J. Zinn was on the bridge as officials were closing it down and talked about the effects on the Metrolink station.
Grand Bridge will be the closing, at least, of the Metrolink station from this access point on top of the bridge here. On both sides of the bridge, as you can pan over, you see that there are access points you can get off. So buses will stop right here in the middle of the road. Buses will stop, creating traffic hazards. The new Grand Bridge will have separate turnout lanes for those buses, but still, Grand Bridge construction will impact the Metrolink. You cannot get to it from this bridge. You'll have to go down to the adjacent Scott Avenue down here by presumably a shuttle of some sort. Now, Metro officials wanted this bridge to be closed before Monday morning's rush hour, simply because they didn't want any Metro users accessing the Metrolink station from this Grand Bridge.
The Metro station will shut down completely between the weekends of March 19th and March 26th, said Metro spokeswoman Diane Williams. While the Metrolink station is closed, there will be a reroute of the number 70 Grand bus service that will pick up from Union Station stop. For a connection to the Frost campus, you will want to take the red northbound number 70 bus, and for a connection to the medical center, medical school, or Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, you will want to take the blue southbound number 70 bus. With $7 to $8 million worth of improvements to the Metro station pushed up to coincide with the bridge project, it will go from one of the system's worst stops to one of its best. There will be a new plaza that will include ticket vending, seating, new lighting, a park ride lot, Williams said.
This past Sunday afternoon, a student reported that several items were taken from her room in DeMatteis Hall at approximately 12:20 p.m. while she was in the laundry room. SLU's Department of Public Safety and the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department responded to the scene and are investigating. The student's door was not locked at the time. The incident was originally classified by police as a stealing. Further investigation, however, resulted in reclassification of the incident as a burglary.
And early this morning, a student reported that he was robbed of cash by two unknown individuals at approximately 10:30 p.m. Sunday in the alley behind Marguerite Hall. The student was not injured and the suspects did not display a weapon. The student described the suspects as black males in their early 20s, one with a light-skinned complexion and goatee, 6'1" and 180 pounds. The other man, 5'9", with a dark-skinned complexion and 160 pounds. Both were wearing black hooded sweatshirts and blue jeans. DPS and the St. Louis Police Department are investigating.
After last week's rain and snow, warmer weather greeted students as they returned from spring break. David Keller is here now with our forecast. David, it sure was nice out there today.
Well, Evita, it certainly has been very warm for our start back from spring break. Very warm out here today, and people are taking advantage of the warm weather on this first day of spring. You can see people are outside playing ball or hanging on the new hammocks that were hung over the spring break, and they will continue to be very warm out here through the rest of the afternoon. So if you haven't been outside, definitely a good opportunity to enjoy this bout of spring weather we are having. Now, it was 78 degrees this hour with some light southerly winds and dew point right around 55, so a little bit humid to start this afternoon. Temperatures did make it up into the 80s across the region. During the afternoon hours, most areas reporting into the upper 70s or low 80s. There was some cloud cover out there, especially as we headed through the afternoon hours, but nothing on the way of precip showing up on the radar. And we will see temperatures drop to around 60 degrees tonight with partly cloudy skies. And we could see a spot shower or thunderstorm as we head through the overnight hours, but those should dry up as we head towards tomorrow morning. Now, we do have some showers and thunderstorms in the forecast as well as cooler temperatures, and we'll talk about that in the full forecast coming up in a little bit. Back to you, Evita.
Thanks, David. Enjoying that weather, I see. The Great Issues Committee will be hosting Education Week this week with related events taking place throughout the week. Today, Monday the 21st, there will be a showing of Waiting for Superman in the Wool Ballrooms at 8 p.m. The documentary chronicles the failing U.S. education system. Tuesday will feature a panel of state and local officials in education. It will be held in BSC Room 170 at 7 p.m.
The latest GIC speaker, Michelle Ray, will be speaking on Wednesday, March 23rd in the Wool Ballrooms. Mrs. Ray's speech is entitled Education Reform in 2011 and Beyond. Ray has served as the superintendent of the Washington, D.C. public school system for 3 years and has started 2 organizations dedicated to bringing good teachers to schools and education reform. Doors open at 6:15.
The Class Legacy program will be hosting SLU's Got Talent on Thursday, March 24th at 7 p.m. in the Wool Ballrooms. Admission is $5 and will allow you to cast your vote for your favorite act. All proceeds will support the Emergency Scholarship Fund.
A study group on cross-cultural history will be presenting a speech by Dr. Joya Urazi entitled Cross-Cultural Representation of Modern Genocides, Some Problems, on Friday, March 25, 2011 from 3 to 5 p.m. in the Teasdale Conference Room of the St. Louis University Museum of Art.
After the break, we'll be taking a look at national and international news. We'll be right back.
In national news, AT&T announced Sunday that it will be buying T-Mobile USA for $39 billion. The deal will create the largest telephone carrier in the nation and will be one of the largest transactions since the beginning of the financial crisis. It is expected to start a battle in Washington while regulators consider the impact of deal on the industry and its consumers.
Last Wednesday, Utah ushered in new immigration laws. The conservative state passed 2 laws, including a law that allows illegal immigrants who are discovered or employed and do not have a criminal record to pay a fine in order to stay legally in Utah. State Representative Bill Wright, who wrote part of the law, says he was attempting to deal with the reality of illegal immigration. Wright says, "I'm in the opinion that we really don't have the ability as a society to remove that large a portion of a segment from our society. Either the cost or just the damage would do." Wisconsin Judge Mary Ann Sumey issued a temporary restraining order on Friday that will prevent Governor Scott Walker from executing a new law that will severely lessen collective bargaining rights. The restraining order is in response to a lawsuit claiming that when passing the bill, the legislator violated Wisconsin's Open Meetings Act. The legislator voted on the bill during a late-night meeting intended to outmaneuver the 14 Democrats who left the state weeks earlier to deny the House the proper amount of votes needed. By separating the collective bargaining portion from the rest of the bill, the Republican legislator was able to send the bill through. Governor Walker continues to claim that stripping many of the public employee unions' collective bargaining rights in order to allow state and local governments to cut costs by making work rule and other changes.
Haitians headed to the polls Sunday for their presidential elections. The road to the election has been fraught with complications, including postponement due to accusations of fraud and voter intimidation. Another complication was the return Friday of former President Jean-Bertrand Aristide after 7 years of exile. Although the results have not been officially released, it seems that Michael Martelly, known for his flamboyant compa music career, won the election over the former First Lady and University Administrator Merlande Manigat.
Egypt's citizens also went to the polls this past weekend to vote for new constitutional amendments. The constitutional referendum may be showing a change in Egypt's leadership, Ram, the young activist, to Egypt's religious leaders, despite being opposed by protest leaders and current presidential frontrunners Mohammed el-Baradei and Amir Moussa. The results announced Sunday reported that Egyptians voted to limit the presidency to 2 4-year terms and to lessen restrictions on independent and political participation. They had instead been pushing for an entirely new constitution that would limit the power of the president. Before the election, publications were distributed throughout the country claiming that voting yes on the amendments was a spiritual obligation.
Conflict in Libya rages on, with European countries, particularly Britain and France, as well as the United States military power entering the country Saturday. The European and U.S. forces promised Friday that they would resort to military action if Libyan President Muammar Gaddafi did not honor the United Nations resolution calling for a ceasefire. Although a ceasefire has been issued in name, the Libyan rebels continue to be attacked. The international attacks are an attempt to enforce the UN's no-fly zone, part of the UN resolution drafted in response to the pleading of Libyan rebels for help. Gaddafi is now promising a long war against the international military forces and is attempting to rally citizens to fight the European and U.S. forces. Gaddafi has also said that he will not lessen his attack on the rebellion in the east. International attacks rocked Tripoli, the capital, and Gaddafi's stronghold, as well as other coastal cities this weekend. International forces have halted their airstrikes and are currently implementing air patrols. Libyan TV is reporting that 48 people were killed and 150 may be wounded in the assault. President Obama has said that he will not be sending ground forces into Libya, but is aware of the risk of taking military action. While Gaddafi is reporting that about 150 have died in the rebellion, the rebels are citing 1,000 people dead.
10 days after the earthquake-caused tsunami disaster in Japan, the country is still trying to recover from the disaster. Police officials in Japan say that more than 21,000 people are either dead or missing. The country is also dealing with gasoline shortages due to the oil capacity being 20% lower than it had been before the disaster. Earlier reports stated that Japan's economy would take a huge hit, but on Monday, the World Bank reported that the country should only expect a temporary slowdown in Japan's economy.
Still to come tonight, we'll check up on local sports, and David has your extended forecast. David?
Well, I'm out here enjoying this wonderful spring weather, relaxing on this new hammock they've installed out here on the quad. We have showers and thunderstorms in the forecast coming up later this week, as well as much cooler weather, and I'll talk about that in your detailed forecast coming up after the break.
reason I fight cancer is because it's going to afflict 1 of 3 Americans. And
I don't like cancer because my aunt had ovarian cancer, and it's just not a good thing. Not a good thing.
I'm fighting cancer because I want a world with more birthdays.
I don't like cancer because my mate from high school died from it last year.
Don't care where you been, cause where we gonna go is where we wanna be. The place where the native language is unity.
I relay because cancer sucks.
I relay because my mom's best friend had breast cancer, but she's a survivor of it, and that's why I relay.
I relay because I love birthdays.
I don't need no leader that's gonna force feed her. Concept to make me think I need her. Feel my brother.
if you have an arena this size, 11,000 people, and you ask someone who's had cancer, someone in their family's had cancer, and then if you ask someone, do you know someone who has cancer, the whole arena's standing.
Let's cast amnesia. Forget about all that evil.
I relay because a buddy of mine from home, the reason I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, has cancer and he's fighting it right now.
SLU basketball is fighting cancer to create a world with less cancer and more birthdays.
One tribe, one time, one planet, one race, one love, one people, one.
We're creating a world with less cancer and more birthdays.
The sum, but he dumb. He didn't know he had a will to overcome. Rejuvenate by the beating of the drum. Come together by the cycle of the hum. Freedom, one, all become one. Don't care where you be, cause where we gonna go is where we wanna be. The place where the native language is unity.
And welcome back. Chief Meteorologist David Keller is with us now. David, you were out there teasing us in that weather. We're here at the anchor desk.
Yeah, I was out there enjoying the weather. It felt great out there. It was very warm. There were plenty of people out in the quad enjoying the warm temperatures throughout the afternoon. I know they were enjoying those new hammocks as I was. They were very comfortable out there with the warm temperatures being able to sway in the wind there. And temperatures were very warm. In fact, we made it all the way up to 82 degrees out at Lambert today. 81 here at SLU. That is well above our normal high of 57 degrees. Our low today was 62 here at SLU, 65 out at Lambert. And look at our normal low, 38. Way above that normal, but getting close to that record high of 90 set back in 1907. But we can still see some extreme cold as we see the record low of 16 set back in 1960. We had some cloud cover this afternoon, but not much in the way of rain. The rain was confined all the way up to northern Iowa. They did have some severe weather this afternoon, but that has since faded and is drifting off to the north and west. Our next weather feature is this storm system sitting out over Nebraska. That will be sliding our way and interacting with all this warm air sitting across the Midwest. We were in the upper 70s to around 80, all the way from Kansas, Missouri, southern Illinois, down to the Gulf Coast. So lots of warm, moist air. And as this storm system slides across the area, that will mean a chance for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow into Wednesday morning. And that cold front will drag through the area tomorrow evening and Wednesday. And that means we will see much cooler weather as we head towards the end of next week. In fact, or in the end of this week, in fact, it will be on the chilly side. We'll see temperatures in the lower 30s. Once again. So here's your forecast for Tuesday. When you wake up, still very mild, 63 degrees, partly cloudy. There may be a few showers in the area. By tomorrow afternoon, it will be very windy and warm with a high temperature around 79 degrees. We could start seeing a few showers and thunderstorms popping up, especially west of the area. Tomorrow evening, 72 degrees, still on the warm side, scattered showers and thunderstorms in the areas with some breezy south winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour. And here is your 7-day forecast. You can see the warm air hangs on through Wednesday, but that cold front does slide on through the region. And we'll see falling temperatures down to 38 by Thursday morning, recovering only to 48 for a high on Thursday. So well below normal for Thursday and Friday. Recovering back to 52 on Saturday, and a little setback on Sunday once again with a high of 48, but warming up towards next week once again. So a little bit of a roller coaster ride to start off this first week of spring. Spring started yesterday afternoon. We saw very spring-like temperatures this evening and tomorrow, but some more cooler weather in store for the rest of the week.
Well, I can take that in place of those teens and 20s.